What are we going to do today?
Oh, dude, we are going to get down with some green jackfruit and play with some of the things that are coming from the genus Artocarpus. Artocarpus also has breadfruit in it.
In life, it's important to be around those people that teach you things that you can learn from. My friend Scott Laaback is one of those people. He's a chef and a farmer because he really likes to feed people. And he's become quite an expert on the plants that grow here in Hawaii that are good for doing just that, feeding people.
This is breadfruit. This is ulu.
Ulu, right?
What they call ulu in Hawaii. And I mean, this is an incredible crop for the tropics.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely thought to be one of those ones that was going to be able to feed massive amounts of people, and it has. And you know, it's interesting because tonight we're gonna cook.
Here it comes.
Yeah, nice. It's all good.
Ooh, look at that. It's got sap.
Yeah, that's that latex. Let it drip out. That's the thing to do now.
And besides being a guy that just wants to feed people, Scott has a passion for trying to figure out ways in which human beings can do agriculture that is less destructive to the environment. And we were stoked on this day to be able to follow Scott around in his natural environment, harvesting foods that are some of his favorites that are sustainable. And then later on, he would cook them for us.
This is the fruit that the Bounty sailed for.
The Beauty and the Bounty.
Yeah, that happened basically because of this fruit. They were trying to sail breadfruits to the Caribbean to feed slaves.
Yeah.
And, well, the crew wasn't having what the captain was dishing out. But
Right.
So we're going to get some of this breadfruit, Artocarpus altilis. And then we're going to go and a little bit later, we're going to go harvest some Artocarpus heterophyllus, which is the jackfruit. Okay. And what's great about these kind of crops is you don't have to till the soil year after year, you know, so you don't have to disturb that soil, and disturbing the soil is one of the greatest contributors to climate change right now. Right. So there's a lot of people who actually believe that these are the kind of crops that the future of agriculture needs to tap into to be able to start to stabilize our climate and our ecosystems.
And one trick is to get this to taste good, right? So
right.
People want to eat it.
Yeah, and that's what we're playing with tonight.
Try to do today.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've gotten to cook with the green jackfruit, and it's totally all the craze. And you know, with our coming climate crises and moving away from so much meat consumption, this is a fantastic kind of in-between crop. Well, let's go cruise up to the permaculture area and let's go get some herbs out of the garden and go get some greens, and we'll husk some coconuts.
And even though Scott's a laid-back guy, sometimes he reminds me of a mad scientist.
Welcome to the field of dreams.
Okay, Scott, so where are we right now?
Well, we're at the Field of Dreams and our little permaculture base camp, and where we focused a lot of our energy over the last couple of years. And we're going to cruise into the garden, and we're going to get some of our herbs and some veggies to go along with dinner.
So you're like the Willy Wonka of Hawaii, right?
I'm trying to be.
All right, good. Bailey, don't steal the fizzy lifting drink.
Serious. Oh man, I love the smell of that basil. We could do something with that stuff right there.
What is this?
This is tulsi. This is a sweet tulsi, and it smells like bubble gum. It's luscious, right?
It is like Willy Wonka around here.
It totally is. It's a plant that smells like bubble gum. So then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make some bubble gum tea.
Cool.
Great.
And maybe we'll put some coconut milk in that. That would be good. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that? Just taking a couple nodes worth and cutting back the flowers on the plant so that it just keeps vegetating and giving me plenty more. You can see it's actually trying to set some seed here. That's what these are all about. These are the little flower towers up here. And the plant is trying to put the flowers on so that it can create seeds, and I don't want that because then it doesn't create as many leaves and as big of leaves. So
you take those off.
Yep, that's what you do with basils.
Basil, same thing.
Yeah, and tulsi is a basil.
I was just gonna say it looks like basil.
Yeah, it's tulsi basil.
Interesting. Okay.
But the reason I call it just tulsi is that's what they call it in India. And then a friend was just telling me a little bit about how this plant spirit is the spirit that really can make anything grow. So it's a very important and beautiful, holy spirit in India. Oh, look at you, green beans. Yeah. Oh, they're abundant. This plant did not get picked. Look at that. They're a little big, so we'll save some of those for seed, but look at the smaller ones.
Michael Pollan says, the garden suggests there's a place we can meet nature halfway. It's obvious nature is dancing all around this place, and Scott Laaback is her dance partner.
This we're calling a survivor green bean, and it's because we've been trying to breed our own seed here that's conditioned for this environment, because certain things thrive in certain environments, right? And we can adjust those genetics by selecting for those traits that we want. You guys want to use some dill for anything?
Yes.
Let's put the dill in the ulu salad, yeah? I'm just crazy about dill. Until death do us part. Until death. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Bailey. I gave him flowers. I won his heart. This is what it's all about, dude. I've been working at putting this together for years now, and I'm just starting to get into the place where I can actually get the enjoyment, which is the full connection, It's not just about making compost. It's not just about putting a seed in the ground or harvesting that seed. It's about connecting that, and actually putting that food in my mouth and in my body and in my friends' mouths and bodies, and having that shared experience and having that shared enjoyment,
Right.
Full circle. Rep it. Rep it. Oh, this is some serious greenery here, folks. Yeah, super fresh. Makes you want to make some falafel or something. Actually, it reminds me of being a kid. The thing my mom would put parsley in the most was spaghetti. She put parsley on top of spaghetti with meat sauce and Parmesan cheese, and that was heaven.
That's it.
Absolute heaven.
My dad would do clams that we caught ourselves.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then he would just grow parsley in his garden. So his clam sauce is just clams, garlic, parsley, and oil, and that's it.
That's how, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like what's going on here?
That's probably Japanese beetles.
Okay.
But what I try to do is I try to grow things that aren't overwhelmed by pests, usually. Right. Okay. So they're fairly strong. I try to have very healthy plants, healthy soil, so that if the pests are bugging them, they can outrun them, they can outlive them, outproduce the pest. Because we're all carrying certain diseases, bacteria, viruses, whatever it is with us. Every single living organism is contending with this sort of thing. It's just the healthy ones that are able to express healthy sort of phenotypes, right? And so health comes from the very beginning. It comes from the soil that the plant is consuming. It comes from the water, and it comes from the seed. So my strategy here is to grow things that really aren't bothered so much by pests. And if pests get after a little bit, so be it. Right. And so most of the time we won't apply any sort of treatment. There's certain things that they start to get a little out of control, and you can adjust. But for the most part, I'm trying to grow what's easy. And somebody at one point said to me, we're going to get you these greenhouses so you can grow all this stuff. And I said, why would I want greenhouses? And they said, so you could grow the stuff that's hard to grow. Yeah. And I was like, why would I want to do that when I'm not doing the stuff that's easy to grow? Right. So I've been focusing on bananas and pineapples and beans and chard and these things that are just easy to grow, because I don't feel like fighting everything. I mean, there's a certain point where something's worth it that you can fight, but I don't want to fight for everything. I just want to go where the flow is.
It's like low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And then I don't have to work so hard and struggle so much, and then I'm a happier person and the food is happier. Maybe we should get an eggplant just cause. Should we? Do we need an eggplant for something? Pick some of these green onions, put in that ulu salad. I think go good in a lot of other things actually that we're cooking tonight. And that jackfruit. Let's show the folks at home that Ellard knows how to choppy chop. Let's see, what can you chop down? Oh, I see a good one. Well, all right. Love that sound. Ching! Yeah, little pieces. Chop it. So you're making mulch basically, you know, and you're making it so that the banana stem that we actually want to produce will have a lot more light, a lot more air, and a lot more nutrients. It's kind of standard operating procedure to thin your banana clumps.
And then you could use that for
Yeah, totally. This is going to be fantastic mulch. I've had this thing for a while, but I just hadn't had the time or the energy to get into it. And I was like, oh yeah, we want to make some coconut milk, coconut cream. What can I do about that? I was like, oh yeah, I got the device. Let's go try it out.
That's interesting.
started.
Nice.
Looks like you, Ellard.
Hello, hello. Oh, he is really cute. Look
I know, he's pretty
look
cute.
at him. He's so cute.
You want to try one, Bailey?
Yes, I do. Yeah, should I go for this one?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Good job.
Thanks. Good. Okay. Yeah, this thing is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We took
Oops,
a
sorry,
cooking class
cowboy.
in Sri Lanka and we saw a woman, she just like knocked it perfectly. And then when she was she had this like little stool with the grinder and she carves out the inside.
Yeah.
No, it was not
I've
a
seen
grinder,
those.
It was just,
It's a blade. It's a serrated blade that's like a half crescent,
and
right?
it was on the stool.
Yeah, you sit on it.
Just,
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Is that what you're talking about? Oh! So we're gonna bring that with. That's Abby's, I think.
that is exactly. There was this old lady who could like clean out one of these in like no time on this thing. And plus, look at me when I sit on it. Like it looks ridiculous. You're supposed to go like that. That's cool, dude. Brings me back.
Where did you get that at?
That's Abby's.
It's Abby's.
She brought it, yeah. You can order them on the interwebs, though.
That's sweet.
It's a pretty basic invention.
Yeah.
You want to try one out, Ellard? Get us a coconut?
So I always thought that these ones were just dead, but this is what a husk coconut comes from.
Yeah, and that's what turns into a tree. Like this one, look, it's starting to turn into a tree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not dead. Those are the ones that are the meatiest and have the most oil content. They're the fattiest.
Okay.
They just aren't drinkers anymore, really. There's water in here. I can feel the water in here, but there's just not as much water as compared to like a green coconut that's basically all water.
Right.
Yep, and then you can work your way down the coconut a little bit too once you get it to start popping off like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, keep going like that. There you go. You gotta beat the rain. Here comes the rain, homie.
Oh, maybe it's gonna be a storm. Ooh, baby.
Gotta beat that rain. Oh, I think you're gonna get it. I think you're gonna make it. You can do it, homie.
Do that. Love it. We're gonna make some coconut sambal, baby.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna make some serious
Sri
sambal.
Lankan style.
Let's load up. We got a bunch of them now.
Cool.
Look at all those coconuts.
Wow.
Yeah, you go to Whole Foods, right? And you're gonna pay like $12 for one of these on the mainland. And here I can't give them away.
That's hilarious.
You guys want a coconut?
You can give them to me.
Always.
Take as many coconuts as you can
All right, let's go. Let's cruise to the house, to the kitchen,
Right.
and let's start cooking.
do. Thank you, man.
Yeah, don't forget your machete.
I'll take the bench.
Yeah.
Got the machete.
Yeah, we
Good.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Ooh, that's a nice box.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I got the first mango of the season, Ellard?
Oh, you're not. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did you get it from?
At the gym.
The gym. I knew
And
you saw those.
it's perfectly ripe for tonight.
Gosh, what a treat.
We're all gonna have that.
There's no air between the shiny atoms. There's no space between the moments passing. And there's no way for me to make things happen. There's distraction.
Hawaiian Harvest Feast.
Living on the river Truckee. And there's a girl that said she only loved me in the country. I know it seems like it.
Damn it! The thing's sharp. Is it okay to wash the water here?
The water is not possible.
If you're going to the city, I'll find a way to keep you in.
Now let's do this jackfruit. This green jackfruit that we just harvested. And what I want to do is I want to make it into workable pieces first. You just see how much it just is juicing out the latex. It's juicy. Looks like a brain or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy. This thing since tape. Look at that brain.
Whoa.
It's okay. Look at all that latex.
Wow.
I
mean, you could just use this for Halloween decoration.
Absolutely, it's like a spider web everywhere. And see, I'm just getting in there. I'm gonna have to deal with it later, but that's all right.
Okay, so how do you do the breadfruit?
Well, breadfruit puts out latex just like the jackfruit does, so I'm gonna pre-oil my knife. Oiling my knife with some organic safflower oil. I'm gonna cut this thing into quarters, just because they'll steam a little better in quarters. And then I'll put this in the steamer. I'm gonna let it steam, and then we'll take it out and we'll work with it a little bit more once it comes out. And we'll make some tostones and probably a little breadfruit salad. Ooh. There we go. Goes into our pot, and that's gonna go on the stove.
All right. How long would you say would you put in there for?
You know, often what I would do is cook it for about 15-20 minutes and then just turn it off and let it sit and cool to room temperature, and it absolutely gets done. But if I'm just trying to push it all the way through, we're going to go about 30-35 minutes, and we'll test it, you know, always to taste, always to the texture that you desire.
Okay.
Cooking's not a science. It's an art.
Think about it. I mean, like as a child, if you eat well, you get access, you can be what you want to be. If you don't get access to food, you get hurt.
Yeah, for sure. Dude.
Like,
It's so rad that you recognize that, because we have these kids that are from this program, the most disadvantaged kids. For example, one of the kids, he was like top of the line in football, and his dad died, and then he broke his leg and couldn't play anymore, and then gained all this weight, couldn't play, and got all depressed, super depressed. We brought these kids out there to Kalani, and they had, one time they'd come out and we had them do yoga, and they planted food, and they went out to the lava. And then the next time they came out, 2 months later, they picked from the food that they had planted, and we went and we gave them a culinary lesson, knife skills, taught about sanitation in the kitchen, and then we went and we cooked this beautiful meal. We broke into separate groups. And these kids were totally into it. Yeah. What I said to them at the beginning is, I said, what I want to give you is self-sovereignty. The one place that you have power in your life is what you put into your body.
Yeah.
What you choose to put into your body, and how you nourish yourself, and how you create yourself. And so by learning how to cook, by understanding ingredients, you get to have that power. And that's what it's about right there.
Yeah. And it's profound ideas like that I've learned from Scott over the years. He also taught me this, that as cooks and chefs, we're actually curators and educators. It's up to us to seek out great ingredients and turn people onto them by using them to make great food. Scott taught me that there's power in that, and that it's also really fun.
Yeah, these are Ali'i oyster mushrooms from the Hamakua Mushroom Company. Okay, so I'm gonna brown some onions in the pan before I throw the coconut milk in with the greens, and it's kind of a takeoff. Pretty much is luau, which would just be the coconut milk and onions and taro greens. That's a Hawaiian style greens dish. So we're gonna make that as our side dish. And also, you know, they do similar stuff in the Caribbean with kalaloo, which is amaranth that they cook down. That's the sound that you want to hear in a pan. If you do not hear that sound in your pan when you put things in to fry, you have failed to heat the pan sufficiently.
You got the coconut sambal, you're gonna have jerk jackfruit.
And then we got the tulsi and coconut water and lemon.
Oh, nice.
Just like I was saying when we were picking the breadfruit about agroforestry and the difference between conventional agriculture, annual agriculture, where we till the soil year after year, aerate the soil, evaporate the carbon essentially.
Right.
And we don't really have robust ecosystems that are protecting the soil. Yeah. Whereas when you do agroforestry and you grow tree crops, you create these long-term stable ecosystems that are sequestering way more carbon in the long term. They're holding on to the moisture, and they're actually able to support way more diverse amounts of wildlife.
So you could plant breadfruit trees? Is that what you're saying? Like, would you plant them?
I would plant breadfruit trees and nut trees and jackfruit and create a culinary culture that was based on perennial crops, on long-term crops, trees, and things that grew more abundantly and more readily without as much human effort and intervention in regenerative systems. It's just all around, it's an environmentally sound sort of
Why do you think
crop.
that hasn't happened?
I mean, partly because it's easier to control a crop, I guess, that you have to make people buy the seed for year after year after year.
Yeah.
You know, and buy your products year after year after year. Whereas stable systems that support themselves and regenerate themselves, there's no market to support that. And that being said, I think the foodie culture is the thing that changes that. And I think that's the power of breadfruit. That's the power of food activism right there, is that we can open people's palates up to environmentally responsible crops.
Opening people's palates up to environmentally responsible crops. That's exactly what Scott was doing for us. And it opened my eyes to how delicious and energizing food like breadfruit and jackfruit can be. This was a true Hawaiian Harvest Feast, and one that could teach us all about the direction agriculture needs to go to prevent the worst outcomes of climate change in the future. And in addition to being a chef, a farmer, and a mad scientist, Scott is also a musician. So every party or meal ends with a jam session.
I'm an old man now, I'm bound for glory. Until death do us part.
So cute.
Young folks don't pay me no mind.
Time to lay these burdens down.
Into workable pieces.
Had enough of it.
Had enough of this. So we're gonna get some of this breadfruit.
Gotta trade my
Gonna trade my troubles for a crown.
line.
Are you ready? I will make my way across the fields of cotton, and wade through muddy waters one last time. And in my dreams, I come out clean when I reach the other side, west of where the sun sets. Rainbows never die. Oh, chipoodle, chipoodle.
We'll put that at the end of the video.
Yeah. That's where it goes.
Clouds so swift, the rain's coming in. Gonna see a movie called Gone to Dim. Pick up your tent, put up your tent in the wind. You ain't going nowhere. Ooh, ride me high.